Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm WoWcrendor, and today I'm going to be talking about the return to Karazhan, which was announced at Gamescom by Blizzard, and that's why we are at Karazhan right now, just kind of filming it. So I want to talk about the return to Karazhan. So a lot of people have been waiting for this. People have been like, dude, when are we going back to Karazhan? When's it going to happen? You know, it's ready. We got Wait, what? Oh my god. It's raining here, but not here. But if we go here, it's raining there? Yeah. Interesting. Anyway. Dude, Karazhan's got some magic going on or something. There's a lot of Karazhan happening. You got the Hearthstone Karazhan. You got the patch 7.1 Karazhan. I guess that's it, but it's more Karazhan than there was a month ago, right? So there's been a lot of posts on MMO Champion I've been reading about the upcoming Karazhan patch and a few game development decisions they've been talking about. Now I wanted to go over these because they kind of just piqued my interest a bit, and I was wondering if anyone had the same opinions as me, because this stood out to me. So, they say patch 7.1, return to Karazhan. Karazhan's coming back as a large 5-player dungeon with all 9 bosses. So, it won't be a raid, it'll be a dungeon. That's fine. You know, I'm fine with it just being a dungeon. I think most people are like, you know, whatever. They got raids happening. The old Karazhan will still exist. You can go farm it for things. There'll be small additional raids between the Emerald Nightmare and the Nighthold that wraps up the Stormheim story. So that's cool. 7.1 will have outdoor content associated with Suramar that pushes forward the Nightfallen story. And patch 7.1 is coming to the PTR right after Legion launches, and the encounters have been playtested internally, and they're good to go. So that's pretty cool. Then there's this thing about game development, and it says, there's a period where the team focused on faster expansions, sacrificing things that they shouldn't have. This made the experience worse. And I read that, and I was like, huh. When... Can you tell me a point where an expansion released very fast, and you were like, oh man, this expansion came out really fast, but they just sacrificed so much that it's not even that great. Because it took a long time for Draenor to come out. It took a long time for Legion to come out. Are they talking about like Pandaria? Are they because I don't think Pandaria is bad. Like that bad, right? Cataclysm. I don't know. Like Cataclysm came out pretty quickly. I feel like they all have like the same scheduled release date, right? Am I being crazy? Someone out there has to know. I'm just kind of going off the top of my head and some like generic research I did. Like, is how far apart were the expansions spaced? Because they made it seem like they released an expansion and it was just like rushed with no content in it. But I can't pinpoint where that is. And they're like, okay, but the focus going forward is a steady stream of content, as it should be, because, right, the reason people stop playing is they play the game for a bit, and they're like, all right, we don't have anything to do, we just gotta wait for the next patch or the next expansion. So it seems like they've decided, hey, I think it's better if we just give you a nice steady flow of content, even if the expansions take longer to come out, because at least you got stuff to do. That seems like the more logical decision, so I'm glad they're doing it. Still, I don't know what they're talking about in the previous thing. They said priority number 1 is making sure that you don't run out of things to do. The team is never going to rush an expansion. They'll be released when they're done. Ensuring there is always content in the live game while working on the expansion is important. That's pretty much like they've said the same thing like 4 times. Raid tiers last 4 to 5 months, and this time around there won't be content droughts. Quote, don't worry, we got you. So, already, it's looking promising with patch 7.1 Return to Karazhan, because I was curious, and I was like, what was patch 6.1? Let me tell you. New character models, Blood Elf, which patch is supposed to be in the launch. New heirloom collections tab, big feature, brought so many people back. Cosmetic transformations and toy effects. Garrison followers and outposts, just generic like Garrison updates, and Twitter integration. That's right. I remember everyone's like, oh man, big patch, the Twitter integration. That's patch 6.1. So already, just the fact that we have Karazhan in patch 7.1, which will be the first big Legion patch, is progress from the Draenor. As for patch 5.1, I didn't look up 5.1. Hold on, let me just do a quick scout here. Wow. Patch 5.1. That was Landfall. Landfall 2012. Shit, dude. Let's see. Pandaren campaign begins. Item level upgrades. Legendary quests. Brawlers Guild. So I mean, that's still better than generic updates and Twitter integration. So even patch 5.1 in Pandaria was a bit better. I think Draenor just kind of dropped the ball. And was that with the new PvP zone as well, or was that before that? I don't know. Either way, the main reason I wanted to make this video was because of that statement they made where they said they're focusing on slower expansions but more content in between, because I don't remember any time where they rushed an expansion, because it seems like they always come out at the same time, right? WoW expansion release list, right? That should be it. Okay. 5 expansions released. Burning Crusade released in January of 2007. So already, WoW came out in January of 2005 is when I started playing. It had been out like a month, so we'll say 2005. So that's like 2 years. It took 2 years for BC to come out. Wrath of the Lich King released November of 2008. So that was about a year and a half later, which isn't that long, because I think a lot of people were still playing BC at the time. Cataclysm was December of 2010, so that's 2 years later. Pandaria was September of 2012, so again about 2 years. And then Draenor released November of 2014, so a little over 2 years. So I don't know what they're talking about with rushing an expansion out, because they're all like the exact same, except for Lich King, which had like the shortest time frame, like from January of 2007 to November of 2008. That was like almost 2 years, but a little shorter, and it was good. It was their best expansion and had the most players. So I have no idea what they're talking about. However, I do agree with them, and I think that they're making the right decision with finally putting content into the in-between periods of expansions and then just launching the expansion whenever it's ready. I think that's a great idea. It's going to keep players active longer. It'll keep me active longer, for sure, because it's like you see something come out like, oh, this patch had Karazhan in it. Sweet. You know, maybe I'll try and do that for a bit, and then it'll get you playing again with your friends. Like, hey, let's go run this dungeon. Even if that's the only thing you do, it at least brought you back for a month, right? You at least resubbed for 1 month. While you look at 6.1, and you're like, huh, Blood Elf models and Twitter integration. Nah. You know, that's the difference. It's like, one is content, one is just a couple features that aren't really major features anyway. So I'm happy with that. Leave your comments below, because I'm curious. I'm curious if you have any idea what they're talking about here. Please educate me. And if not, I don't know. Either way, leave your comments, your opinions, all that stuff below. And yeah. Okay. See you.